Welcome back inside our studios here in the ATL. It is game time presented by State Farm and a Friday night edition. Stern, Smitty, Stan Van. And to me, one of the things I love about the night is that we get to kick it off with two teams who have probably surprised some people and have had a lot of togetherness, just like we have on set. Bringing the heat to the Thunder. We need some more of that in the studio, right, Smitty? It is cold in here.
Yeah, that'll get you loose.
Kendrick Nunn.
Don't go under.
Oh, boy. Been good. This time finds Jimmy Butler. Smitty 6 of 7 for the Heat from 3 in the first quarter.
They do a great job of sharing it. Spacing has been fantastic. And Dennis Schroeder.
Scary moment.
Scary, isn't it?
Hit in the mouth, loses a tooth, picks it up and puts it in his sock.
He might get 500 tonight from the Tooth Fairy.
And comes back and gets 18, 7, and 8.
Hopefully remembers it's in the sock, but we don't have that information. Bam, we have this information.
Okay.
Even good. 21-8, 5 assists. Always seems to have that. They're up 14 at the break. And then Coach Gallo.
Gallo had a big night and hit that big one against Miami zone. They've
Look
used
at
a lot of
Shea.
that zone lately.
Creativity inside. He's among the best in the league already. Look at that. Schroeder with the look.
Good pass.
Amadou Diallo.
Big
Finish.
Yes, he can jump and he'll dunk on people.
Lead 10.
There he is.
Dragic.
Dragon. That's easy. That's
To the
high.
basket. Easy. And then this time finds Jimmy Butler. That's just a good cut. And where was everyone else? Lead 9, win by 7. You know, Miami, we talk over the years, wow, look what they're doing with what they have. And maybe if they had, they don't really need more this time. They got some talent on that team, and Butler's played great, Stan.
Yeah, outstanding. And this was a big road win for them. I mean, the Thunder had won 12 out of 16, and Miami has struggled on the road. They've only lost 1 at home. I mean, they've been the best home team in the league, but now they're back to 500 on the road. Big win tonight.
When you look at Dallas and you look at Schroeder, who has really grown, matured on and off the court, you think about what's happening with Shea, and that trio with Chris Paul, it's working, feeding off each other. You got to give CP a lot of credit too, right, on the leadership side.
He's taking a back seat and letting some of those guys shine, and obviously he's playing clutch when they need him. But what they're doing is they're attacking you with 3 guards, and they got 3 feisty guards, and those guys will defend. And I like that Dennis Schroeder and Chris Paul, even though they're small, they will fight and defend bigger guys.
And not afraid. Bucket getters.
Not at all.
But with Gallo, we talked about they got 4 guys on the floor, all who can create, do their own thing, and Steven Adams. Portland often looking for the 3rd scorer. They'll take 2 with some of the on again, off again lately and hope to stop that one. Luka, the Don at home in Big D, but Dame doing his thing, Smitty. Pull up over Luka for 3 at 11 with 3 from beyond the arc of the court.
Very underrated. I mean, he's been good for so long and gets a chance to play at his pace. And this guy right here, he's must-see TV.
He is, on some of these plays, you'll see it too, people just so almost in slow motion, never rushes. Here, Melo. Coach, just the 18th player in the history of the league, scored 26,000 points.
I mean, it's incredible. And I'll tell you what, he's looking better the last couple of games. His quick moves in the post and on the drive have come back, not just the jump shot.
Well, Portland's had to wait for guys to come back, injuries already. But look at him land here on Maxi's foot, and that just looked like it's very painful.
Yeah, it is. You can tell. I mean, he tried to walk this one off, but he couldn't.
Left the game, didn't return. You hope for the best, and it's hope it's not long. This from far, from close. The shots are I mean, you almost have more time to watch them because they kind of happen slowly. Doncic, 23 at the half. And then Timmy, Hardaway.
Well, he had a good game as well. I mean, being able to knock down some shots. With Luka having a big game at 35, but he had 29 to go with Luka.
Step back, excuse me, I'll take it from here, thank you. Lead 17. More from Doncic, but the Blazers hang around, Coach. More from Dame.
As Smitty said, I mean, this guy's been good for a long time. He creates offense on his own.
And for others, finds Whiteside, bounce pass over Doncic inside. Lead down to 4, Smitty, but then it's Luka time. He had 35, 8, and 7, ho-hum.
Creating space, first off the dribble, then the strength inside.
I mean, look at this.
And then this one right now
Look
is
at that.
all skill and confidence.
I mean, you're talking about a Luka who late in this 8-point win did it all. We take a look at the pretty pictures. Take us through this, what you're watching from Doncic.
Well, what I love, Stan, is you watch, he always is square. And then he gets a chance, because of his vision, he freezes guys with his eyes. He's not going to commit to nothing all the way. He always has you hesitating because Dane right now didn't know whether he's going to drive it, set up off the dribble. He just plays at such a good pace, and that's probably the fastest I've seen him run.
Oh, yeah.
Stan. But then here's the vision, where there's nothing there for himself, and he gets to make it easy for others. And then last but not least is, because he has this jump shot, you have to go over screens. And with that big body, once you go over, he keeps you on that hip, and he's going to ride you to make the next play.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier tonight. All of their supporting cast, and I know it's Coach Carlisle, they probably would anyway, but they all play hard and maximize what they do around him every night.
And they can really shoot the ball. Look how they've won. They have the #1 offense in the league. They've won because of Luka, and they shoot threes. They made 23s tonight. This is how they play. They rely on him, and everybody else can knock it down except for Powell, who's a great roller to the rim.
Rolling to the rim, going above the rim. We go under the rim on Fridays. He could do that too. Ja Morant on the receiving end. And wait till you see the pass he made on an almost identical play just before that. Ageless wonder, George Hill, to that guy who's just wonderful. More Game Time coming next.
NBA Game Time is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 1-800-STATE-FARM.
We've got a dandy coming up Saturday on NBA TV. Bucks in Brooklyn to face the Nets. Coverage begins 5:30 Eastern Auto Trader pregame. We'll be here tomorrow night. And there will be a lot of talk about all sorts of things, including, of course, Kyrie and his comments. We'll get to that. But first, comments about the best around, as they said in The Karate Kid, because you look at the East standings, and that's what the Bucks have been. Not getting enough credit when you look at the list of the standings of where they are. Just leave that there for a second. I feel like, because there's so much talk about what's new and sexy everywhere and what team is screwing up and why aren't the Sixers doing that. 37-6.
Well, they're on pace to win 70 games. They're already 7 games up on a Heat team that's playing really well, winning over 70% of their games. It's amazing.
We're going to get into it and get into Giannis here in a second, but I want to ask you first, Smitty, this. What is it, in your opinion, if you had to guess? I'm sure it's a number of things. In most scenarios we've ever seen this, you would be hearing heavy favorite talk, right, in the East. And they're the favorite. But I don't think it seems like the feel is heavy favorite. Well, maybe if Philly got together, maybe if Boston this. Why aren't they getting the due that a team 37-6 should get?
You know, I think a proven second scorer or third player or a guy that also can create, that can carry you for a quarter. Giannis is a MVP maybe again, but if he's not going well, are you trusting the second and third guy to be able to carry? I think Bledsoe's had a better year, Coach, than he's ever had. I think Chris Middleton has played well, but I think that's still the question mark. And because in some people's eyes, those are two guys are not stars.
Right.
Usually everybody say, well, they got AD, LeBron, and Kawhi, and Paul, and you go, Chris Middleton, this seems an all-star. Yes, Eric Bledsoe's a good player, but I don't think people are buying into the second and third guy just yet. I
totally agree. I think everybody knows that Giannis is great, and I think everybody trusts how deep they are, say 4 through 12. I think Smitty's right. The question people have on them are Middleton and Bledsoe good enough? 2 and 3. Now, they've both been very consistent this year.
Yes, very.
But until people see it in the playoffs, they're not going to trust it. But the thing that is going to make them really tough to beat, they can beat you on a bad night. That defense is so good.
Yes, but because there's not that much of it in the NBA, Stan, talk offense with us. Let's start with that. Because, look, we could talk about it, add the supporting cast. No Brogdon, it's a big deal. Sterling Brown, Connaughton, Ilyasova, all these guys have stepped up. DiVincenzo. But it all comes around that guy, Giannis.
Yeah, it certainly does. Look, I mean, he does everything for this team on both ends of the floor. But on the offensive end, first of all, he's a guy that relentlessly attacks the basket. They've started to post him a little bit more. Harkless guarding him here. He does a great job getting him up on the fake, Smitty, up and under, lays it in. On the drive, we know how tough he can be. Here he's going to get the switch onto Caldwell Pope. He's going to isolate. As he drives it and goes for the spin, Davis a little late on the help, and Rondo's running out to take away the corner three all the way to the rim for the dunk. And then where he's the most dangerous is in transition. He gets the rebound, he's coming up. Now all of Lyle's help is to the middle of the floor, but Giannis beats him to the outside, another layup. And everybody on the team has bought into Mike Budenholzer's attack the basket, space the floor. So Bledsoe here on the attack, they come to help. Great pass out to Kyle Korver, who knocks it in. If Bledsoe can make plays like that consistently, then people won't have the doubts about this Milwaukee team.
You look at this year comparatively to last year, and in the offseason we heard, I don't care about MVPs and any of that. Talking to me about I love that. It's not even lip service, eyewash, whatever you want to say. It's real. The numbers have been real, but it's with a this year to next year thought that I ask you one thought on at least the net side, and that is how it is for everybody to pay attention to this year when everyone seems to be waiting for Kevin Durant. And I think people changed off of that, Smitty, when Kyrie was coming back. A lot of Net fans got excited. Hey, look, maybe we'll turn things around a bit. We've shown that we can be good. Did his comments almost kind of take us back away from the here and now? How difficult of a situation is that?
I think it goes to, I know we've been sitting here and we all understand you've been coaching and watching. The Brooklyn Nets just each year, I kept saying, wow. Okay, this team competes. This team has a chance to get in the playoffs. And then when you add those two guys, we understand Kevin Durant was hurt. You're just saying, well, now with Kyrie, hopefully this works out in the playoffs. If they play just the way they play, and you add a guy like that, because to me, one of the best closers, if they can just be somewhere in the seed, they could scare some people. Then Kyrie gets hurt, and they go back to being the Nets of old, where they're winning games, and at the end, they start losing a little bit, Stan. But you kept saying, I like the way – that's what people – it's not always about wins and losses. I like the way they're playing. And now we got to see, do we like the way they're playing with Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, and I think, look, the question of Kyrie and Spencer Dinwiddie, who was great playing at an all-star level, now he gets fewer opportunities. I thought they took some good strides the other night with them both being able to play, but it still seems like right now they're just sort of taking turns, a little bit like Wade and LeBron did when they first got to Miami, rather than having any kind of flow. But they've improved defensively in the time Kyrie was out. That's allowed them to stay in some games. So we'll see going forward, and we'll see how Kyrie's comments affect everybody on that team.
Size not really there in total, but when you got Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and LeVert late in the game on the floor, not many teams give you three who could break you down themselves and create their own, which they can. We tell you, be with our own Bucks Nets on Saturday. More Game Time. I'm Verklempt. That's coming next.